The John Clay Wolf Show has appeared on terrestrial radio for a really, really, really long time. So we dug into our pockets, and on the other side of our we found something funny. And yes, it's contagious. Gather round as the Wolfpack goes on this throwback adventure.
What's up, world? It's your boy DJ Pre-K back at it with another throwback clip for y'all. And today's clip is more recent, but when you have the future president of the United States on your show, you gotta show some love. That's right, we talked to the one, the only, Tiger King Joe Exotic, live from the penitentiary, baby. And he had a special message for us. He wanted to tell us how he's gonna, operate our country live from the penal system. So let's hear him out. But you can't make America great without a little bit of hate, of course. And his haters found a way to creep in. But you know what? Let's hear him out as well. All right, check it out.
Good morning, everyone. And as promised, finally, last week we had some problems, but we do have the Tiger King running for president 2024 on the air with us right now. Joe Exotic, good morning.
Woo-hoo. Good morning, guys. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you. How's prison?
It's prison. At least I can say I'm not in a prison with bars or doors. I'm actually in a medical facility in Fort Worth, Texas, and it's basically like a college campus. There's no doors. It's a beautiful landscape. The only difference is I can't go across the street to Walmart.
How long are you in for?
The original deal was 21 years, but I've been in 5 years already, just trying to get a new trial, and we've got a motion for a new trial in, and we're filing more motions next week. But my lawyers are pretty confident with the evidence that we have now, and all of the government witnesses, that have admitted to perjury and everything else. They're pretty confident they're going to get me out of here in 10 months to the next year.
So you think you can get out to serve as our president in time?
If I can't, I will let myself out.
Because as hard as it was to get you on the air, it would be a bitch for you to run the country from the prison payphone.
Most people don't have as hard a time pushing 5 as y'all did.
So, Joe, catch me up on Carol Baskin. Did they find her husband?
No, and when she did that, she didn't think very hard before she pulled that media stunt, because if he is alive, she's got to repay $6 million back to his estate and his children.
So catch me up on the story. Why were they saying Carol Baskin's husband was found alive? She did not feed him to the tigers.
Well, she's the one that put that story out there.
Okay.
And she was on Dancing with the Stars, and then she came out as bisexual, and then she came out asking President Trump to help get me a pardon if I would rat out all my friends. And then she'd come out that she was scared of me again when it come time for me to get resentenced. And now, a couple months ago, it was her husband's found alive, and the FBI and Homeland Security verified that's all fake. And then now she's claiming that she's selling Big Cat Rescue. So you never know what she's up to.
We're on the phone with the Tiger King, the COVID King. I mean, it was so wild when COVID jammed us all into our homes. All of a sudden, you became a worldwide phenomenon. From this moment, and everyone had nothing to do but watch TV, and then the show came out, and the entire world watched it. It was too crazy not to watch. So what happened with the fella Lowe? Was that his name? The guy that bought the
Jeff Lowe?
The zoo from you?
Okay, well, first of all, he didn't buy the zoo from me. He came in pretending to be an investor,
Mm-hmm.
supposed to drop $300,000 to help get the zoo to the next level. And he conned me and my mom into putting his name on the property as half owner to invest this money, and then after his name got on there, come to find out he was piss broke. Had nothing, and he was, riding off of Robbie Knievel's name and Dan Haggerty's name and everything else. And come to find out, he was just a con artist, but it was too late. His name was already on the deed as 50% owner. and it just made life hell at the zoo to the point that finally, in June of 2018, I finally walked. I left it all behind, and that wasn't good enough. They still had to come after me and set me up for all this bogus crap.
And then what did he do after that point? He got the zoo.
Well, he got the zoo. He rented the property from Carol. They made this deal for $5,000 a month. He rented the property from Carol. Then Carol turned on him and got the USDA and PETA to sue him, and they took all of his animals away. Then he started to
This call is from a federal prison.
He tried to build that new zoo down in Thackerville, Oklahoma, and he scammed the retired school teacher out of her life savings to buy that property. And then the feds ended up raiding that place twice and taking the rest of his animals away, and then she had to have him evicted. And now he's on the run because he's wanted in Vegas, he's wanted in Oklahoma, and, we're after him for perjury. And then come to find out, Alan Glover, the so-called hitman, he testified under oath, under a video deposition that, he made it all up. Jeff made him make it all up, and their original plot was actually to kill me to start with.
We are on the phone with the Tiger King from federal prison. He is live with us right now, and if you just joined us and want to hear the rest of this, go to the podcast. It'll go up at JCW show this afternoon about 2 o'clock. Sorry, Joe, I just have to reset because people come and go, and they don't realize.
You're good, but,
this is so Oklahoma. It is so Oklahoma. I mean, this old man told me years ago, every time we cross that Red River, my daddy told me every time I cross that Red River from Texas into Oklahoma, your mama goes to running around and I start stealing things.
Yep. That's about it.
That's about it.
That's about it.
It really is.
You go from Texas to Oklahoma, you go back 20 years in time.
So what's life like without drugs?
Do what?
You sound clear. I can tell you're not whacked out. What now that you're not doing any drugs?
The bad thing is, and the funny thing is, I've never seen the show, okay, but apparently they made me out to be this giant meth head, okay, and I'm the only one in the show with teeth, if that tells you anything.
James Garrison is on line 4, and he wants to defend himself. Do you know him?
He wants to defend himself. He can defend himself all day long, but my attorney...
Should I bring him on the phone with us right now?
Hey, that might get me in trouble because they may consider that a three-way call.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
So we can't do that.
They'll disconnect.
I can do it after we get done with you. But remind me, what should I? Who is James Garrison? What's his story, real quick?
James Garrison was the confidential informant for the FBI. He's the one. If you get on JoeExotic2024.com and look at the evidence link, he is the one on all the recordings that they handed over to my attorneys, where they admit that they lied. And my attorney has, they.
So he's the one that really put you down. He's the one that got you put in jail.
He is. But the crazy part is, John Clay, is they all turned over their cell phones after Carol didn't write them all a big check after they put me in prison. So they thought they were going to be heroes by turning on the feds, okay? But they forgot to erase 416 telephone recordings. And all of these phone recordings and videos and photos and everything else, there's enough evidence there to put them all away for bank fraud, sex trafficking, and rape. It's insane what my lawyer has as far as evidence.
I don't want to steal. I don't want to steal all your time because you've become pen pals with my buddy here, JD Ryan, and you guys have never even talked. JD went out and got a Prince Albert piercing in honor of you.
Not true. Not true. I used to.
JD, when you can wear a master padlock on the end of that sucker, we'll talk.
Okay. Didn't happen. Joe used to bring the tigers to a nightclub that I did remotes for a radio station. That's how I first met him. And of course, the chicks just swarmed around this guy with the tigers on a Friday night at a country nightclub. So that's how I first met Joe, 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time, hasn't it?
Long time. That was so much fun.
JD is stayed in touch with me, writing letters back and forth for the last 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been 5 years, but you know the sad part about all this is, as popular as the movie was, and as big of a setup as this all was, my parents have both died. I lost 55 years of hard work. I made it 55 years before I got arrested without even a speeding ticket. And my ex-husband sold all my clothes to a museum in Las Vegas. If I was to walk out of here, I have nothing. I have absolutely no clothes, no nothing. I got to start completely over.
Well, I think you could move in with JD and his girlfriend to start with.
Come on over, Joe.
He'll get you. He'll be your halfway house.
He won't need it because he's going to be president. He's going to be in the White House.
He's going to be in the White House.
We're gonna go to the White House, whether it's to duke it out with President Biden or to move him out, one or the other. But
that's wild. Well, man, I so appreciate you calling in. I mean, real quick, what's your pitch on running for president?
There's just so much.
Joe Exotic is on the phone with us. By the way, go ahead.
People out there have no idea. We can't run this country with a Republican Party. We can't do it with a Democratic Party, and we can't do it with a Libertarian Party. We got to get somebody out there that's got some common sense and meet in the middle. Because we can't make abortions illegal and force 13 million people to be born in broken homes and everything else for the next 18 years and hand them all guns. Okay, we're headed for a national disaster. We got to do something about the border. We got to do something about Social Security. We got to do something about mental health in this country. There's so many things that need addressed, but we're too busy sticking our nose in world problems that have nothing to do with us. That we are not taking care of our own country. And somebody has to call these people out. And, I signed up originally as a Libertarian. Next week I'm changing as a Democrat for the sole purpose to make President Biden debate me.
Joe, call again, come again, be a regular. We love having you on. This is fun.
This call is from a federal prison.
All right. And
everybody, I appreciate it. Yeah, if you get on joeexotic2024.com, look at my platform, look at the evidence, and help me get home.
Thank you. 800-800-7234, 800-800-RADIO. My name's John Clay Wolf, buy cars on the radio for America's best car buyer. GiveMeTheVin.com. Happy Easter, everybody.
We may not look like it. Listening. We are actually kind of hip. To the John Clay Wolf Show.
Why does it have to be so loud?
And check out the podcast at jcwshow.com or johnclaywolf.com. This is the John Clay Wolf Show, America's largest weekend morning show. Call John, toll free, 800-800-RADIO. Now, John Clay Wolf.
So we had Joe Exotic on a moment ago, and if y'all missed that, you need to grab the podcast at jcwshow.com. It goes up today about 2 o'clock. And James Garrison, who was the FBI informant that put him in jail, is on line one. And this other fella in New York, Danny, are you there?
Yes, I am.
So you worked with James and Joe?
No. So I'm based out in New York. I have a media company of my own. I was retained by Joe's power of attorney originally because they wanted to do like a merch collab, something along those lines. Started talking to his inner circle, Tammy, a lady named Amy Filati. And, I decided I was going to help. I got control of his social media. I got into the picture with everything. I started helping him with the social media. I was in the mix for about a couple weeks, and I started seeing some funny stuff between the fake fiance, and I call him, even though he's a real person, I call him a catfish because this is not a love-based thing. It's about finance. Joe is funding everything for this kid. He's paying for everything, and this kid won't speak out publicly for him. I even have emails of Joe begging me to ask Seth to speak out for him. He won't do none of that. And why I notice funny things, they'll pretend they're trying to log into Joe's Instagram.
Hang tight. I'm going to grab James. Hold on, Danny in New York. Hold on. James is in Texas. James, you there?
Yes, sir.
Hey, thanks for, I didn't realize you were a listener. Cool. So what's the truth?
Well, the truth is, I didn't put him in jail. I might have contributed to the thing, but it's basically his ex-husband is the one that connected all the dots and crossed all the T's and put him in jail. And Joe's a total fraud. He's been dying of cancer since 2012. It's always a scam to get money, just like the presidential campaign. I, too, am a candidate. I signed up myself just to show how easy it was to do.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can do it. And I would love to debate him on a stage.
So you were or are, did you work for the FBI now?
No, I don't work for anybody. I was a confidential informant for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, because what they were doing is they were selling cubs and they were skinning tigers and they were doing all kinds of evil stuff that I didn't agree with animal-wise. So I decided to help the government. And, man, I wish I'd never got involved in this train wreck.
Do you think that he was going to do you think he hired a guy to kill Carol Baskin?
100%. His voice is on the tapes. He's asking the hitmen. You know, it's his voice that convicted him. It's not us that convicted him. It was a jury of his peers. And, yeah, I mean, I think he's guilty, and he's guilty of a lot of other stuff. And we're going to have a press conference in Fort Worth, Texas this week, and we're going to divulge some recordings and some videos that are going to be pretty damning to his case.
Okay. So are you going to vote for him?
No, I'm going to pass on that. I'm Trump all the way, man.
Thank you for calling in.
Trump.
This is crazy.
Yeah, I appreciate for having me.
Thank you. Let the crazy start back over again. It's just, it's been on pause. Gigi, did you watch?
do math when you have the John Clay Wolf show?
Gigi, did you watch Tiger King?
Yeah, we watched it.
It's just
Who didn't watch it?
But it's all coming back to me how crazy this whole mess was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so this guy's going to have a press conference, and Joe's running for president. Here we go.
I love it.
Was there a follow up on Netflix?
If there was, I didn't see it.
There
I
was.
don't think so.
Yeah, there was something.
I never watched it, man. I didn't feel like I could take it at the time.
It's just too heavy.
Been there, done that.
Right.
Two teeth on top, 3 on bottom.
Danny in New York. Danny, did Joe admit to doing meth?
Say that again?
Did Joe Exotic admit to being a meth addict? Methamphetamine?
Many times. He publicly has admitted to it. And he's also used this. I mean, you guys watch Tiger King. It's not that far-fetched. You saw all the young guys around him. He groomed them. He's still up to it. He's got people around him facilitating it now where he's paying for people's finance just to have him around. Finley, he's groomed right out of high school. Finley was with him for 14 years.
That's wild.
Joe also had a traveling show. There's a victim that's getting ready to put out a civil suit against Joe.
Right.
Because he also had a traveling show.
Hey, I've got a clock. I got a clock I got to hit. The thing's blinking at me. I got a boogie. Thanks for listening to us up in New York. Where in New York are you?
Brooklyn.
All right, Brooklyn. Now we've had everybody on.
All right, y'all know what to do. Hit us up on johnclaywolf.com. You can check out old episodes on there. Stay up to date with what we got going on. Get cool gear. We got hats, shirts, all that. Hit us up on Facebook. Search John Clay Wolf Show. We're on Instagram. John's on Twitter. You can holler at all of us, okay? You know how to spell it, okay? We appreciate y'all listening. Keep on rocking with us.